Welcome to this Evolving Mindfully moment. I am inviting you to join me because I decided to invite myself away from my desk and into a moment to drop in. I notice myself feeling some agitation at this very moment on Monday, January 20th, 2025, midday, and just recognizing that there is a lot that's going on out in the world, a lot of things that I have felt a lot of concern and upswelling of this feeling of agitation, concern, overwhelm, wanting to be able to demonstrate the care that I feel and how invested that I am in the well-being of the land in Southern California, the people in Southern California, all the beings that reside there and make that their home, who have experienced devastation, destruction, who are moving and living right now through that and in a state of shock, as well as what's unfolding right here in Washington, D.C. on this day, just down the street, and noticing and aware of my sensitivity, as I believe all of us are very sensitive, which is, I think, one of the reasons that we find ourselves developing habits and patterns of navigating, coping, pushing away, disavowing, denying, repressing, acting out, all the things, right, that I know that I have engaged in multiple ways in my 49 years so far on this planet, and I'm sure that you have your own stories around as well. And so to me, the invitation here is to take a moment and to step back and to engage in practices that are drawing on ancient lineages within which these questions were asked of how do we live within the context of the stresses of our times, and how do we take care of ourselves in a way that we can respond with care in ways that are impactful and effective within our capacity, without reacting in ways that take us sort of out of that sense of operating within our capacity to meet the moments of our lives in effective and effectual ways. So the invitation is to just take that moment and step back. So stand up if you are in a position to stand up. You don't have to stand up. All of this can be modified in a seated position. It can even be modified if you're lying down. Any suggestions that I'm making for physical movement or breath can be modified. You can use visualization and subtle sense of movement to modify any movements that may not be within your capacity to engage right now. And you can take the breath work to the places that it feels nourishing to you. So the invitation is to do that as well. And we'll engage for about 7 minutes or so, and then move on into the day. And the intention for me of these practices is a sense of reset, coming back into that place of awareness of myself and of the world that I'm in a responsive way, rather than a kind of repressed or reactionary way. So take a moment, and if you have chosen to stand up, or you are whatever position you're in, and just feel whatever part of you, it's my feet, are touching the ground or touching a surface that's connected to the earth. And just take a moment and spread that part of you. So for me, it's my feet and my toes. If it's your seat, you can kind of widen your whole part of you and deepen, kind of pressing into whatever capacity that you have. And take a few deep breaths as you do this, and as you exhale, just feel that sense of spreading and connecting in this place of connection with the earth. with whatever material that you're standing or seating upon, and that sense of awareness of what is beneath that, the floor, the foundations, the ground, the subsurface, the life that is unfolding literally between and beneath our feet and our bodies and our structures. That is all part of the life, this organism that we are an expression of. And just with the next few breaths, in whatever way that feels accessible, begin to sort of move now with that sense of groundedness, but more towards the heart space or the center of your chest, with a little inhale, stretching and sort of opening, and as you exhale, sort of rounding and leaning back a little. So this could take the form of an arch and a curl. It could take the form of a leaning forward, with the weight moving sort of forward at the hips or at the ankles, and then curling or leaning backwards. So play with it as you will. You can bring the arms into it. And take about 3-4 more breaths in this way, your own breath pattern, and make it bigger. And exhale through the mouth. Take a big inhale. Open, open, open. And exhale, close and wrap around. 2 more like this. Inhale, it's like you're opening your senses, you're acknowledging this connection that you have to what is happening beyond the space that you're in and around you. And as you exhale, you kind of draw in your own energy, drawing it back, and that care that you have, and the love that you have, and the concern that you have, and just sort of opening up to it. And then exhale, kind of breathing out what is not yours to hold in this, what is beyond your capacity to engage with this, and just drawing in that which is true to you, the care, the investment, and the interest that you have in being responsive, while not kind of drawing into yourself more than is yours to do, more than you can do, more than is beneficial for you to be able to take on, but really allowing yourself to be present to what it is and what is there. Just take a moment and go back to the grounding of your feet, and take a few breaths, and for wherever position you're in, let that breath come as low as it can in your body, feeling that groundedness. You might even feel a real kind of sense of strong anchor in your center, in your integrity, in your values, in that sense of care that you have that makes you an invested party, an invested person in the life that you lead, the space that you embody, the earth that you're upon, the community that you're a member of, the communities, work and spiritual communities and place-based communities, neighborhoods, towns, cities, interest-based communities, just kind of feeling that sense of yourself interconnected to all those connections that are meaningful to you, that are purposeful to you. And just feel that sense of space between, but also that interconnection. And take a big breath, and with the next inhale, let your right arm, to whatever extent that it can, come up and around your body to the right side, and exhale down. Take 3 big sweeps like this. Breathing into the right side of your body, pressing through from the floor and expanding and opening. This is in the yogic energetic anatomy, the doingness, the pingala, the solar energy that in the Western principle, the Eastern, traditions of acupuncture arises out of. Chinese medicine, the yang, the activating, the doing. Then take an inhale and just sort of acknowledging and giving a sense of appreciation and recognition, bowing really to your capacity to take action, your capacity to impact, your capacity to make choices that ripple in ways that impact the world, that impact others. And just open up and just feel a sense of awareness, just kind of scanning the right side of your body, checking in with this sort of capacity to act, the capacity to do. For some of us, when we really get hooked in and we feel like, oh, that reactionary response to something that's happening within our community or in our greater communities, it's like we get overactivated and we're like rushing around trying to do so much, and then we exhaust our reserves and our capacity. We get ill, we just overwhelm, or we get super drawn in and we're like lose all steam. We get into inaction, right? That freeze, fight or flight, right? Activating or freezing response. So just acknowledge sort of that range of responsivity, that range of tendency, what maybe you tend or are tending in this moment of your life towards one direction, and with non-judgment, just sort of letting that awareness be. And then with the next few breaths, take a moment and press through the ankle on the left side and just stretch up and around, and take about 4 or 5 breaths like this and really press through. If you're seated, you can just sort of like weight in the hip. If you're standing, you can press through the leg and reach up and around. 2 more. Really let the breath be like moving in and opening on that left side and tuning into the Ida, the lunar, the receptive, the reposing, the reflective energy, the yin, that which sort of gets real settled and open and taking it all in. It's not necessarily passive in that kind of way that we kind of, put judgment on being passive or passivity, but just the neutrality of the passive. It's like the first principle of not doing and but being present with, right? It's not a repression, it's not a hiding, it's just that beauty of being able to see, taste, touch, smell, open awareness, and be with what it is. Let that information come in. And the last breath here, and just noticing sort of that sense of bowing, recognition to that part of you, lunar. And just noticing sort of what is your relationship right now with the capacity to be with, to let be, to create the space for the wisdom, perspective, the intuitive to come through. Knowing that this is not a passivity that is allowing, absolute inaction, but it's that receptivity and the reflection and the open awareness that can inform right action and right timing within capacity. And then with the next few breaths, just take an exhale and take an inhale first. All together, and then take an exhale down
again, you can just wind this if you're seated in a smaller way, but if you're standing, just kind of winding the arms, cross body movement. Inhaling all the way up and then exhale. Let it bend, let it curve, let it fold in. And just drawing these two together in this Sushumna, the central channel in the yogic tradition. As you're doing this, you can sort of picture the tailbone dropping down the spine, rolling up the head. And these two, the Ida, the Pingala, the activated, the receptive, the solar, the lunar, coming into a beautiful, effective, impactful, balanced, harmonic dance of responsivity rather than reactiveness. And take the last breath and just let yourself come and just open. And just take a few breaths to tune into your sense of hearing. Noticing the little sounds around you in your space. Your sense of touch, notice sort of the sensations, the felt, touched sensations within your body and on your skin. And let your eyes, if they've been closed, just gently open and just notice what's around you. And then just take a moment and feel that sense of yourself, sort of not leaning back away from anything, sort of like, and not leaning forward, kind of like going at it with this, just reactionary urgency, but taking a moment, opening up, asking yourself, and maybe taking a moment if you have time now to journal, but I'll offer a couple of sentence stems just to close, so you can close your eyes again and just feel yourself sort of at that central place, with this awareness that's bubbling up to whatever little piece of this practice sort of hooked on to something that's here for you to be with. Your own awareness, your tendencies, coming back more into that place of ready, receptive, right timing. What is the, wanting to and committed to being responsive and present with, but recognizing what is within your capacity, what is yours to do, the availability to the immediacy of your life, primary relationships, tending to what's here, your health, the health of your space, the choices you're making as they impact, the well-being that you have an immediate connection to and how that ripples out. I'll just offer a few sentence stems that you can speak out loud to and or journal with. If you have time, space, maybe come back to. What I value. What I value is.
supports me to be well in my being and available to live my values is. Ways that I am putting that support in play for myself, whatever came up in that, like just that commitment to, for me, can be simple things. And some things take more effort to put in place, but just like that commitment, simple acts of supporting my well-being, my availability to live my values. Just take a next breath, let your arms float up around your body. And bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, just that simple, humble prayer position. Down to the third eye, just take a pause here. May this practice support us to see and to see beyond the restrictions and the limitations of old stories, but to see through and to what's possible. Take a deep breath. And let the fingers trace gently down across your nose and down to your lips. And take a pause here, just breathing deeply. May this practice support our capacity to align our words, both our inner dialogue and our spoken words, our written words. Align them with the possibilities, reaching towards greater expressions of our values. Simple ways, day-to-day ways that have a lasting and far-reaching impact. Take an inhale. And tracing the chin, tracing the throat down to the heart. And just press your thumbs into your heart. Feel the beating of your own sweet, precious, strong, vital, courageous, miraculous heart. Just bowing to humbly and also just wonder to the mystery of life itself. May this practice support us to feel the healing power, the encouraging power, the vivifying power, the regenerative power of awe and wonder and love and appreciation for the great mystery and beauty of the heart, this experience of life. Blessed be. Thank you. I hope you feel better. I feel well, better. And hope to connect in other ways. I'm back and we'll be offering things more regularly. I took a little